So I watched a movie this weekend and it was really cool. But I also watched this movie, so let's get it out of the way and go ahead and talk about it. Black Site is brought to us by director Sophia Banks and stars Michelle Monaghan, Jason Clarke, and Jai Courtney. A group of officers based in a labyrinthine top-secret bunker must fight for their lives against Hatchet, a brilliant and infamous high-value detainee. When he escapes, his mysterious and deadly agenda has far-reaching and dire consequences. So Black Site is a movie. Like the synopsis says, this movie takes place in a top secret government bunker where they hold high value detainees, like terrorists and people they're questioning that are terrorists, or at least they think they are, and stuff like that. This mythological like hitman called Hatchet is captured by the government and sent to this place. Now Michelle Monaghan's character is working at this site because years ago her husband and child were killed in a bombing that she believes that this Hatchet character is the one that was responsible for. So right before she is about to be reassigned and leave this place, what do you know? Hatchet is sent there. Happy accidents! Upon arriving, Hatchet, shocker, escapes and starts leaving a trail of bodies behind him. Now nobody in this base knows why he is there. He clearly got caught on purpose to be sent there and he has a reason for being there. The base goes on lockdown and loses communication with the outside, and apparently there is some directive that if they lose communication with the outside, within 1 hour a drone will come and blow the base up. So now our heroes have about an hour, it might be a little bit longer, I honestly can't fucking remember. Point is, they got a time limit, and if they don't figure out what it is he's after, catch him, and get communication back up to the outside, they're all gonna die. So now it's up to Rachel Monaghan, Jai Courtney, and some other people you've never heard of to try and figure out why the Hatchet is there, what he's doing, catch him, and hopefully race against the clock to save their lives. Sounds pretty fucking intense to me. So the basic setup for this movie is fine. I wasn't expecting the deepest story in the world. I was just expecting an hour and a half of entertainment, and that is it. And I'd be a liar if I didn't say that there are parts of this movie that are somewhat entertaining. I was never blown away, but there are parts that I wasn't bored. But there are also a lot of other parts that I was bored. Not a good look. Let's start with their performances and characters because there's not really much else in this movie. Monaghan is fine, I guess. As the movie goes on, it's kind of like her character gets worse and worse. At first, it seems like she's doing fine. Her performance is fine. Her character and what she's supposed to be doing there, I was on board with. But as the movie goes on, she gets less and less believable. Not just that, but she also gets more and more kind of B-movie, if you will. The whole movie does. It starts out like a lot higher production value than I was expecting, and as it goes on, it's just like it kind of goes down this slope of B-movieism. That's okay. I don't mind B-movies. If they're entertaining, they're entertaining. I don't care if it's A, B, C, whatever. Jai Courtney's here too. Being Jai Courtney, that's about all I can say about that. If you've seen the guy in other movies, then you know what to expect here. He plays a dickhead. I will say one thing about his character though, the way that his character gets his ending in the movie, let's just go with that, was actually pretty cool. I did like that. That was somewhat original, and well, I don't want to ruin it for the two of you out there that want to watch the movie, but that part I kind of enjoy. Now the star of the show is, well, Michelle Monaghan, but the star of the show in this respect would be Jason Clarke. His character is probably the most interesting and well-performed character in the movie, and he has probably all of 10 lines throughout the whole thing. Honestly, 10 is probably pushing it. The guy doesn't really say much at all, and really the vast majority of those lines are the very end of the movie. He's just a character that shuts the fuck up and walks around and kills people, and that makes him the most entertaining character in the movie. That should tell you something about the movie. So okay, we got a fairly paper-thin story, some performances that are okay, and everything kind of goes into B-movieism. How about the action? This is an action movie. I'm looking forward to some really cool action. Maybe that can make up for it. Well, I mean, make up for it is probably pushing it. The action here is not awful, but it ain't great either. It's just kind of there. Jason Clarke's character just kind of lumbers around like Michael Myers and slowly takes people out. The few times that he kind of goes into brutal mode, it all happens off screen or the camera pans away to where we can't see it, and that was kind of frustrating. The enigma that this movie builds up for this character, you're wanting to see him do all this badassery, and you don't really get to see a lot of it. You do see a little bit of it, but what you see isn't really all that badass. You hear about a lot of it. You see the aftermath of a lot of it, but we don't really get to see it. Now beyond that, there's not really a whole lot more that this movie has to offer. It's just these people running around in this fairly generic bunker chasing after this guy for about an hour and a half. There is an actual reason why this Hatchet character is there, but when you find out what it is, it's it's just not really all that interesting. You're like, you know, I was more interested when I didn't know what the fuck it was he was there for. Also, the end of the movie is so preposterous and so ridiculous, and the tone dramatically swings in like the last 2 or 3 minutes of this movie so much that I was just sitting there wondering, what in the fuck are you doing? Plus, it looks really bad. Clearly, these last few shots of the movie were shot on a soundstage, on a green screen, and it stands out really bad. I'll give the movie this much. Most of it looks pretty good. I mean, it's got decent production value. There's not a lot to it. They're just in this bunker running around the whole time, but it all looks fine until those last couple of minutes. That looks real bad. Like X-Men Origins Wolverine bad. It's just fucking terrible. And that's what you decided to leave the movie on. Not just that, but this ridiculous premise that the movie goes into right in those last few minutes. That's where you ended your movie. What direction would I have rathered them go? I don't know. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. But that direction, that ain't it. Guys, really, there's not much more to say about this movie. I know I didn't really say much, but the movie doesn't really offer much. Was it the worst movie I've ever seen? No, but it was just kind of a nothing burger. After watching it, I was just kind of like, whatever. I was probably equal parts bored and entertained throughout it, so it wasn't like a bore fest from beginning to end, but there were definitely boredom in there. While it has decent enough performances and the production values are fine for the most part, leaving it on such a groan-inducing note just really put a perfect shit cherry on top of this shit ice cream. While I can't go as far as to say it's an absolute dumpster fire, it is absolutely only really worth checking out on USA Up All Night.
It's not worth it!
Hi, I'm Gilbert Gottfried.
Hi, it's Miranda on USA.
It's so big. It's just not worth it!
So yeah, pretty forgettable overall and not really worth much of your time. So if you watch this one, don't say I didn't warn you. So there it is, guys, my review of Black Site. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits that go along with that, like these guys, and possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Dragon Khan, Marge G, and Silverlock. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, nondescript, mountainous desert setting that this movie takes place in.
I got one rule, stay alive.
When is Hollywood gonna stop giving Jai Courtney roles? I mean, Jesus, this guy's been going on for quite some time and he just keeps on making crap. And I mean, I can't really blame him because he's doing his thing. He's living his best life. He's making that money. You do you, buddy. But we're the ones who are suffering. We're the ones who keep on watching this shit. We are enabling this motherfucker. At what point are we gonna say, stop, no more, I refuse, stop it, now, stop, just stop.